Yes. Okay. I can go ahead and roll. We're going to start. All right. Can everyone take their seat, please? We'll go ahead and start. I'd like to open our Comlink meeting for February 24th, 2022. And as we start each meeting, I'd like to start with a pledge of allegiance. So could you please have everyone stand and hand over the heart? And I'm going to ask Terry to go ahead and lead us. No? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As usual, we'll start off with introducing the board. We're going to start off over there with Terry McCall, and he's one of our board members. Irma Marquez. Macias, thank you. I will show you my limited Spanish. Gracias. I know Polish better. Dziękuję. I have Ma over here. Ma. Evangeline Goransky, our Vice President. George Collins. And he's going to introduce our newest board member. George.
I will introduce Marta Rodriguez. I got it right. Okay, and then I'm going to tell you a little story how she got nominated and put on the Comlink board. She's a Santa Ana native, alumni at Cal State University, Long Beach, co-founder of the nonprofit Open Hands of Hope. She's dedicated her work to youth programs for arts and culture through the Open Hands of Hope. They bring resources of point of need through providing the youth of our community volunteer opportunities and co-sponsored events. She was instrumental in reactivating the Willard Neighborhood Association and bringing Willard street signs, the little signs on top of the street post. Marta is a member of the Rotary Club in Santa Ana and currently on the board of her neighborhood association at Wilshire Square. Our last board meeting, she attended. Unbeknownst to her, she was going to get nominated to be a board member, but she was very active. She point counterpoint. We have agreements and disagreements, and that's exactly what we need so we can get all views from the community. And she seemed to fit right in with her points of argument, and I'll use that word, points of argument. And someone felt very positive about her and nominated, and the second to the nomination was so fast, the person that nominated her couldn't get it finished. And we took a vote, and it was a unanimous vote that she would be filling the seat that Peter had, and since he's gone, and going for the term that Peter had. So we welcome her to the board. Come up to the board. And say hi, hello, or something.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here. Thank you so much. And yes, it was unbeknownst to me that what I was getting myself into when I went to their board meeting to just share some of the community things that were going on. And they said, hey, you know what? We need to fill this seat. Would you like to welcome, we welcome you onto the board. And I said, thank you. Thank you so much.
Good public speaker. See, we got a good one. Okay. Santa Ana.
Wilshire Square. Yes,
Excuse me.
I'm here with my president from Wilshire Square, Karen Marks. Yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Here you go, Carl.
Thank you, Marta, and welcome.
Thank you.
We already have put her to work, right? You already got a bench moved and some work done in Madison Neighborhood Association. They said thank you on it. And in case you missed it, because I didn't say it, but my name is Carl Benninger. I'm the president of Comlink this year. We're very fortunate tonight to invite back Nabil Saba from Public Works. He feels like I'm a shadow over him because I was there with him last night. But before we get you up here, Nabil, I'm sorry. We're very fortunate that we have the folks from the Santa Ana College, and they're going to talk a little bit about what they have going on over there and with buildings. And we're very fortunate. Had a nice discussion with the person in charge of their facilities, whose last name is just like my daughter's, only spelled differently. So we went through that discussion. So you want, Teresa, you want to introduce?
Sure.
And Dr. Nery's not here yet, right? She's finding
on her way.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here again. Teresa Mercado Cota, Assistant Dean at Santa Ana College, your community college. And again, it's such a pleasure to see all of you. Yes, Dr. Annebelle Nery, our Santa Ana College president, is on her way. And we also have Carrie Matsumoto, who's right here, who's Assistant Vice Chancellor of our facilities. And so she will be presenting along with Dr. Neri tonight and giving you an update on our facilities at Santa Ana College. You're all very supportive, and it's an honor and a pleasure to be here and to provide this opportunity. We thank you. We thank you. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it on to Carrie. If you want me to. Okay. So again, we'd like to start with our community update, which is of the Santa Ana College 2022 Facility Master Plan. Next slide, please. So Santa Ana College inspires, transforms, and empowers a diverse community of learners. That is our mission. We're ranked as one of the nation's top two-year colleges, awarding associate degrees to Latino and Asian students. The college is also recognized throughout the state for its comprehensive workforce training programs for nurses, firefighters, law enforcement, and other medical personnel. The college has evolved into one of the most energetic and fastest growing comprehensive community colleges in the nation, currently serving roughly 20,000 credit and non-credit students per semester. As far as our vision, Santa Ana College is the college of choice that empowers individuals and is committed to creating and strengthening a student-centered, diverse, and welcoming community. The innovative academic pathways and services that we provide inspire and motivate students to achieve educational excellence and economic advancement in support of the environment. And that's according to our educational master plan. We have so much more to tell you, and we're going to try to do it all in very few slides, and then we'll open it up for questions or comments once we're finished. Okay, so with that, Carrie.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. This is my first meeting here, so I'm excited to be here. So thank you for having us. And I really wanted to share with you all some of the history of the facilities of Santa Ana College, if perhaps you didn't know, which you may know, but my father actually was a graduate at Santa Ana College in 1957. And I was just looking through his yearbooks the other day and looking at some of the buildings that still remain standing even today from the 50s. If you didn't know, Santa Ana College is currently 105 years old. It's the fourth oldest community college in California. And other sites that Santa Ana College service and have other facilities at are the Digital Media Center, the Centennial Education Center, and the Orange County Sheriff's Regional Training Academy in Tustin. So Santa Ana College has a lot of outreach and programs at these other facilities as well. But their main campus has been serving students since 1915, when it was considered a junior college located on the campus of Santa Ana High School, which my father also went to Santa Ana High School too. But the earthquake, which we're probably familiar with in 1933, caused a lot of devastation across school facilities. And so with that, the college was forced to relocate to a site on North Main Street. And it wasn't until 1945 when a bond measure passed and allowed the college to move to a permanent campus to its current location at 17th and Bristol Street. So where you see the main campus today, that's when they moved there. And then the community has been very supportive of facilities and the construction of facilities, the campus has been able to undertake a lot of construction as a result of the support of community members and taxpayers with two major bond measures that were passed. One in 2002, that was Measure E. It was a district-wide bond measure that actually provided the opportunity to do new construction improvements across both colleges. We also have a sister college, Santiago Canyon College in the district, and also Santa Ana College. And then in 2012, voters for Santa Ana College, actually in this area, supported a bond measure solely for Santa Ana College at $198 million to undertake specific repairs and renovations and new construction, which actually has resulted in some of the new buildings you see standing today, our new Science Center, which I'll mention, and our new Johnson Student Center, which recently opened. Both of those buildings opened this year. And so we are really excited about those achievements. So next slide here. Some of the other things I want to share with you about the condition of the facilities. So the main campus is roughly 65 acres. And there are 29 buildings, main buildings. I call them main buildings because you see other portable buildings that are temporary facilities, but these are the main buildings on campus, which actually have been built. The campus has been built in phases from what I can see in the 50s. There were several buildings built in the 50s. A lot of buildings built in the 60s as well, and the 70s. And then fast forward till the late 90s and 2000s, that's when a lot of the other buildings came online. And then now we have been replacing buildings with some of the new construction. So if you look at the 29 main buildings that are standing on campus, you know, 15, there are several buildings that are over 50 years old. And I was quite surprised learning that several buildings are over 64 years old. So when my father asked me, hey, is Hammond Hall still there? I go, yes, it is. How about that gymnasium, Cook Gymnasium? I go, yes, it is. And he has fond memories of these buildings. So when I came to Santa Ana, I realized, wow, there's a lot of memories and history that's really rich in this campus. So it's really quite been an educational sort of journey for me as well, learning about the facilities on Santa Ana College. Additionally, Centennial Education Center, which is located in Centennial Park, that facility is comprised of all portables, and that serves our, our adult education, continuing education programs for Santa Ana College. And those portables were built in the 80s. And those portables and some of these other buildings are what we call in the industry at its end of life in terms of their useful lifespan according to standards established by the state. So I wanted to share with you tonight that the campus has been undergoing a review of what we call a facilities master plan. A facility master plan identifies goals, guiding principles, and recommends projects that the campus envisions being constructed over time, from about 5 to 10 years. And every so many years, the college will update this plan. We have to do this plan according to state requirements. It's required under the education code. It's required by the state chancellor's office. And it's also required for accreditation as a college. So we are required to look at this plan, which is a roadmap of what we'd like to do. And I wanted to share that with you because we're in the middle of updating that plan. We have spent several months since the spring of 2021 meeting, working, discussing, looking at our educational goals, and then also creating a plan and updating our plan for facilities to align with the educational master plan of the college. So with that, I wanted to share tonight some of that information really briefly. And if you wanted more information, we have a contact at the end of the presentation. You can contact my office. You can look on our website. You can email us, call us. But I thought it was important to let the neighborhood and community know what we've been working on for several months because it's rather exciting. I put in here just a map of the current campus. So I will tell you that you see right in the middle, there's this JSC building. That is the new student center. And our students are so excited about that building. If you haven't stopped by, I really highly encourage you to please stop by the building. Take a trip to the campus store, buy some goodies there. It's an amazing building that just opened this year. Additionally, the new Science Center SC off of Campus Drive right there just opened this spring semester for our students to have science classes in that building. We're so excited about that. Additionally, right next to it, and I know you're navigating really, you're trying to help me out. I really appreciate it because I can't see what's going on up there, but thank you. The building next to it, HS, that building is our new health sciences building, which is currently in construction right now. And actually that building is about 30% through construction. And it's also a partially state funded project. So we're excited about that because the state, we applied for state funding and the state is assisting us with the construction costs for that building. Next slide. So we've actually completed a lot of work in a short amount of time here with the help of Measure Q and Measure E. We actually did a renovation at Dunlap Hall. That 4-story building that you see very brightly lit from the street, that's Dunlap Hall. It's a white building with a lot of new, you see the new LED lights. We've got a lot of compliments about how it's really lit up the campus. We also added a central plant and we did all new underground utility replacements for the campus. You can imagine being as old of a campus as they are, the struggles they would have regularly with broken lines, water lines, utility lines. And so we actually, part of that project was to replace all the underground utilities and provide a central plant that would actually be energy efficient so that the campus could provide cooling to buildings connected to the plant because the plant is a thermal ice plant. So we actually make ice during the day and then at night it's stored and that cooling provides cooling to all of our facilities. So we don't have to run individual HVAC units necessarily for every single building. So extremely efficient. We also demolished and then reconstructed the new Johnson Student Center. We built the new Science Center and demolished a few other smaller facilities. And we've actually done site improvements all around the perimeter of campus and on the internal portion of campus to replace all of our landscaping with drought tolerant landscaping. That is a requirement by the state. So we've been excited about that. And then I just wanted to share with you our 2022 plan. Our 2022 plan really envisions to continue building upon the success we've had at Santa Ana College because of our community and making certain that we continue to support our students and our community with the buildings that they deserve. So with that, we've completed a lot of meetings. And if you want to know more information about it, you can go to our website. And I wanted to let you know that on slide 10, there's a map and then there's a description of all of the projects that we have envisioned that we would like to complete over the next, who knows, 5 to 10 years, all contingent upon the availability of funding. So what you see in red are anticipated new buildings or modernizations. So if you want to stay on the map, maybe it's easier versus me describing each one, but I could tell you that there is a plan for a new parking structure along with an applied technology center. That new parking structure is, if you could see it right there, yes, correct. 4-story parking structure and an applied technology center, which would replace old facilities for programs like our welding program, our auto program, our diesel program, our manufacturing technology program. Those programs reside in 50s buildings, some of them 40s. They're among the oldest buildings on the campus, and they have outgrown their space. You could imagine why. Another new project is what I call the Arts and Workforce Building. That is on the corner, right? Correct. Right, they're not the corner, but it's where parking lot 6 is right now. And we intend to build that out if we could. And that would house and replace our old theater, our digital arts, our media, our arts building. We would demolish 3 buildings and to build that new facility. And then you could see where it says future with that dash, that's where the 3 buildings currently reside. So because we would actually, in lieu of having to provide interim space or housing while we're doing construction, we're actually building that building next to it, and then we'll demolish it after we move in. That's one of the other plans. The other building that would be new is the Learning Commons right in the middle of campus. That is our current library. Our current library is also a very old building. And there's a proposal to replace that building with a new building, which we will update and call the Learning Commons. And then there's another building up near the front of campus called the Welcome Center. And that Welcome Center sits, and we would actually demolish buildings H and building T. And there are modernizations planned for other buildings on campus, Chavez, the S administration building, and then also plans for bleacher concession potential upgrades, as well as potential future upgrades to all of the athletic facilities. But what's highlighted in red are really the highest priority projects for the campus. And so during this process, the next slide, please, the campus actually determined there are two sets of tiers of projects. A tier 1, which were major high priority projects, and tier 2, which included a lot of other project needs. But for the purpose of brevity, I know we're short and I'm going long, but I wanted to share with you the tier 1 projects. These are the major projects. So like I mentioned, if you look back at the slide, it's the Applied Technology Center and the parking structure, a very highly needed project. The Arts and Workforce Building, modernization, also redevelopment of the Centennial Education Center is a high priority as well, because of the age of the facilities. And then also the library replacement and the student services and welcome center. So with that, I won't go through every single slide, but I wanted to just give you a flavor of the things we've been studying in facilities for the last year. I've been with the district almost 9 years now, and it's been a pleasure working with the college and on behalf of the district to really bring state-of-the-art facilities to the campus and to work with all of the different constituents to identify their needs and to continue to work towards executing a plan that they like to see for their future and a vision. And seeing these buildings be built is really remarkable. And we thank you for all of your support through the years. And so with that, I will take any questions.
Let me just say one thing.
Yes.
Just to say before you ask questions. Just want to say, anyone does have questions, we have a microphone set up. And this is so that people at home can hear better what the questions are. So with that, say what your question is.
My trivia question is, can you hear me?
No,
in the back?
I'd say you're up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
You want to hear me? The trivia question is, you mentioned the new parking structure that they're putting in there. Do you have any idea what parking cost back 1961, 62?
Well, probably not as much as today, for sure.
50 cents.
50
50
cents.
cents a semester.
Wow.
And mine came off, my sticker came off my car because of the heat. And I found a ticket on my car when I went out to go home. And I thought, what am I getting a ticket for? So I went right into the office and I said, why are you giving me a ticket when I have it right here? And my pass. And they said, well, they didn't see it. I said that heat knocked it off the window and it was sitting on the seat. So all you had to do was look in the window and you see it sitting on the seat. So I didn't have to pay it. Trivia for you.
Thank you.
And any other question? There you go.
Actually, I'll go ahead here. I have two questions. You invited us to come to the campus to see things. Where do we park? So we don't get tickets.
There is actually visitor parking in the front, right off of the main entrance.
Visitor parking.
Yes, there is. Visitor parking.
And the second question I have on page 13, section 3, I'm kind of ancient, so I don't know all the new acronyms. Could you explain a couple of the acronyms there so we know what they mean?
So-
UJ, IMA, UM, OJ.
And Teresa, you might want to help me out with that.
Yes.
Yes. The Umoja, U2, it's the African American, I believe, right? Legacy Center, a cultural center for our students. Just like we have here, there's an Asian American Resource Center. So these are some of the cultural center programs that we're going to be housing in that particular library replacement building.
Okay, so the acronym stand for programs.
Yeah, you know, Teresa, do you know? I'm not sure. Sorry. We can get back to you on that. Yes.
I'm Alberta Christie. I'm on the foundation board for Centennial College, and I know that if Dr. Neri was here, she would absolutely say, how many colleges are there in the state of California? 15. Guess where Centennial College ranks? Number 2. Okay, number 2. I don't even know who number 1, but we're shooting for number 1. In addition, Chancellor Martinez told us we're the only campus college, community college in California that had a 16% increase in students for this coming year. Everybody else were in negative numbers. So the chancellor met with Governor Newsom, wanted to know, what are you doing? Okay, so you'd be very proud to know how successful this college is throughout the state. And we just today had one of the most important centers open for future jobs, and that's our cyber center that opened today at the CSU Chicago. Okay, and I have, of course, these little maps for your computer later on that. And we are also going to be giving additional bachelor's degrees. Okay, we already have a bachelor's degree in occupational therapy. We graduated 66 students, which was 20 and 21 combined. Now we're going to be offering more. 4 years bachelor's. I'm sure it's going to be in cybersecurity, security and others, manufacturing and everything, diesel, all the trades and so forth. And it's $10,500 4 years. 4 years plus, with the foundation board going out and talking to businesses and philanthropists to come in and put in endowments and scholarships. Guess what? Our students have a chance. Our students have a chance. And jobs, just in the digital center alone, the young man said, I was driving an Amazon truck. Okay, and I thought I would be doing that for years until Dr. Newland and Dr. Jason Lim was there and said, take these classes. So he took the first several semesters of classes in cybersecurity. POS hired him. They're starting these kids out with degrees and certificates, 55,000 to 100,000. So does that not change the life of our students and for our adults that want to go back in to retrain for higher paying jobs? So you have a jewel, and that's Centennial College. We invite you to please come in and see what we're doing. And if you would like one of these pads, mouse pad, thank you. And so please raise your hands and I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, do you have
I
a?
have a question. Hello.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Nolita Mendoza, and I'm really glad to hear that finally there's going to be a performance center put in at Santa College. I've been advocating for that for many, many years. And so my question is, will this be allowed to be rented out to other entities such as maybe the School of the Arts so that they can do performances there and to bring in more revenue for the college? And my second question is there any plans for upgrading and renovating the Child Development Center?
Well, the Child Development Center was actually built fairly recently. So that isn't necessarily on the tier 1 projects, but it would be at some point on tier 2 for modernization. So that's where that particular facility would be. As for the Performing Arts Center, that would have to be determined at the time of they're building it and the use of that facility. There's designated facilities use that the campus would have to consider. And so I think that's a consideration that the college would undertake, because I know that they do rent out other facilities campus-wide. So that would be a conversation to have with them once, if that materializes to be done. I think that's a viable opportunity to have a performance space like that. So it's really exciting.
And
But
then I
yes,
wanted
yes,
to add,
yes.
I also wanted to, is he fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also wanted to add that ever since we have the Student Johnson Center, the second floor has a large conference center. And so ever since people found out about the Johnson Center, we have been lending it out to folks. And so, you know, there are different categories. If people are for-profit businesses, they're charged a certain amount. If they're nonprofit, they're charged a certain amount. If there are neighbors and we have partnerships, they're not charged. The only fees that we charge are for our union employees. So if we need to bring in our security officers or our maintenance and operations or custodial, then there is a fee for them to come in, or our media folks, then there's fees. But other than that, we are really doing our best to lend these facilities out and to have you use them and others use them, because we want this to be for our community. So Councilwoman Mendoza, to your question, we are doing our best to provide these facilities to our community. The only thing is that, of course, our priority is our students. So when we're teaching classes or we have performances there, we can't lend them out, you know, the way we would like to. But like in the summer or on the weekend sometimes, or other times, we can lend out the facilities. So thank you for those questions.
We got one last question. Go ahead.
My name is Irma Garcia, and I am a mother of 6 wonderful children, and I am so happy and so proud, because I really believe that we are so blessed and so wonderful, blessed, because we have something so awesome. And all my children, they graduate from Santa Ana College, and they're wonderful with good job. And it's all thanks to this wonderful college. They teach my children and prepare to keep going in life. They're all professionals, and it's all thanks to these wonderful schools that we have the luck to have them. And it's Santa Ana, our home, and we have the best. And God bless you all. And I'm not like, I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud of my kids, because they all go there. God bless you.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
I'll put one more plug for the college, in case you think there's nothing there for you. The planetarium is one of the best programs I've seen. And if you have small children, grandchildren, take them there. It's amazing display of the stars and what have you. And I learned a lot. I'm hard to teach something, but it worked out well. So thank you. Any questions online?
No question.
Very good. All right, we're going to now turn this program over to Nabil Saba. He's very kind to come back a second time, because we didn't get through everything that he had the first time. So we're going to talk about the new bus stop programs and the construction going around the city, which I'm sure some of you noticed.
Thank you, Bob. Can I do it from here?
Sure, okay.
Good evening, everyone. Happy to be back. Council member Nabil Mendoza, good to see you. Thank you for being here. And Marta Rodriguez, congratulations on your position. Looking forward to working with you. It's exciting to see a new member here at ComLink, and looking forward to your contribution. I know that we have had a list of presentations from last time. I think we went through 2, and we have 2 left, I believe. The first one we have for you is the bus shelter advertising and maintenance. And the second one is the capital program, the CIP presentation and update on the current construction project, which Jason Gabriel, our principal engineer, will be given. But this presentation has changed from the first time that we came over here and we were ready to give you the presentation. At that time, I want to say the contract wasn't awarded yet, but now it has been awarded, and the new vendor or the bus shelter company, maintenance company has been hired, and they have started doing work starting this last Monday. February 21st was their first day doing work in Santa Ana. And I can tell you, it's already making a difference. We're really happy for the new company. Go ahead. So my agenda is really brief, just a little bit overview on the program. What are the benefits of the new program or the contract, the timeline, and some recommendation on going forward and how to deal with bus shelter maintenance. Next, please. The program really includes installation, maintenance, and cleaning of all bus stops in the city. It does include the refurbishment of the existing bus shelters, the green ones, which we have had for many, many years. So we see a need to upgrade these, and we are in the process of replacing some of the green furniture that we have. But before we are able to replace all of it, we are going to, through this new contract, to do some refurbishing, painting, and make them look more appealing and more presentable than what we have right now. The program also includes the addition of what we call kiosk. The kiosk, and I'll have a picture of what a kiosk looks like. It's basically a triangular structure that will allow us to do advertising on both sides of the structure, and that's really to provide for revenue to pay for the maintenance. Again, the contract includes revenue sharing because the bus shelters that we have advertising panels on a lot of them. So company uses those panels to advertise. The advertisement pays for the maintenance. The contract as a whole is revenue actually cost neutral to the city. City does not pay for the maintenance. It's all included. They advertise, it pays for the maintenance, and that's how it goes. So we're part of that contract because the city really doesn't have to pay for anything from our pocket. So next, Focus Media Group is a new vendor. We used to have a company called Clear Channel. Clear Channel now is not maintaining our bus stops. Focus Media Group is a new company. It's in Orange County. In fact, they just opened an office in Santa Ana to serve Santa Ana. They've been in the business for 20 years. They serve cities such as Seal Beach, Garland Grove, Stanton, Sunset Beach, Westminster, and Fullerton. They currently have about 1,500 bus benches and stops. By getting Santa Ana as a city that they serve, it will add 642 bus stops. So Santa Ana alone is going to probably not double, but add quite a bit to that business. So they are looking forward for serving Santa Ana. We're big. We're 600 bus stops is huge for one city. They have in-house staff for the maintenance, and they have quite a bit of experience in dealing with homeless persons. Next. That's one of the evaluation criteria that impressed us about this company is their ability and knowledge on how to deal with homeless individuals using the bus stop as a place to stay. They have a 4-step process. They got documentation. They follow up in 24 hours. They offer assistance. And so there is a series of things that they have experienced in dealing with the homeless. They have a model that comprises of compassion, connect, and community. Next. Some of the benefits, graffiti removal, plexiglass cleaning and replacement, painting of all bus shelters within the first 9 months of the contract, and then they would paint 20% every year of the entire inventory of our bus shelter. which means every 5 years, the bus shelter itself stays will be painted. So that's a good program. So we're 20% every year we continue to paint. Services like boarding up, testing the light fixtures, fixing light fixtures that we have not been working in our shelters as now some of them have it. And so we need fixing those lights, touch-up paints, minor repairs. Next. In terms of the cleaning of the site, it will include trash, emptying the trash, cleaning of the surrounding area within 20 feet radius of the bus stop, clean the furniture, the shelter structure, the trash receptacles, signs, the posts, the sweeping all around the sidewalk and the boarding area, removing of litter, waste and debris, removal of graffiti, stickers, decals, tapes, and gum, steam clean once a month the entire area, and if needed, spray for weeds within 20 feet radius of the bus stop. Next. So additional benefits, like I mentioned, it would be a cost zero to the city, which is something that we are proud of. I mentioned there will be discounts for city businesses to advertise. They have services that they can actually design the advertisement. If someone is interested in using their service, they have that kind of discounted service. And some of these advertisement is or announcement would be free to the city government. So if the city government had let's say a campaign on water conservation, so that would be free to the city 4 times a year. So we could do that, and we've done that, by the way. The previous company had that same program. So anyway, a lot of positives. I already see the difference because I drive the city every morning coming in, and during my lunch hours, and I see a difference. These trash cans are being changed, and we also have 45 what we call hotspots, and those hotspots will be treated or visited 5 times a week, and the rest of the 640 minus the 45 would be maintained 3 times a week. So the hotspots are, like I would say, First and Bristol hotspot, First and Maine hotspot. Those locations 5 times a week. One of those times will be on the weekend. So that's in the contract. So I just wanted to share with you here a picture of our newest bus shelter. You will see those on Main Street. We've installed few. We're almost finished with the installation of this new design. We're proud of it. In the back of that design, as you can see, there is a backing. Some kind of art will be coming in on First Street to promote First Street history. So that's the new design. We really like it. I hope you like it. Next, please. This is how the kiosk will look like. Like I mentioned, it's a triangular shape. It's got 2 panels, 2 sides where the advertisement will be coming. Okay, timeline. Again, cleaning maintenance is first, ongoing refurbishment within the next 9 months, and repainting with 9 months, and ongoing refurbishment and painting of all furniture every 5 years. So that concludes my presentation. I'm open for any questions. Go ahead.
I have a question regarding the knowledge hotspot.
Yes.
There must be thousands of bus stops.
The 642.
Okay, there's one on the cat that lives right next to my house.
Sure.
I was just wondering, it's not everybody's gonna get that big kiosk, right?
No, not all bus stops have shelter to them or
Right.
yes.
Just have benches.
So some have benches with a trash can. Some have just a trash can. It varies. We're trying to standardize and replace all the green ones with black and the black bench and a trash can. So that's we have, I think, replaced 300 of these so far, and there's more coming. From OCTA, we were able to assure or get a grant it's called Project W. I think 30 new bus shelters are coming to that program. OCTA is paying for that for us, and then the location of these has already been predetermined. Now, OCTA does track a ridership on all of the bus stops, and so they tell us where those bus shelters will go because of the ridership.
Okay, and is that for usage of it? Because like, people, if the bus is stopping, there is a bench there,
Yeah.
and there's trash can, but is that kind of universal in all the bus stops?
You know, there's some that don't have anything, just that. So we're trying to put furniture on all of them.
Okay.
Right. So that's our objective, but it takes a while and funding. So but I think we have had some funding coming through the general fund this time around. And so we installed 300 already, and I think there's another 150 coming in. So yes, we're looking forward to that.
I have a question, but not my sister. My sister, she rides the bus every day, and you know, like she have a home remote, and she have a bumper, and her question is why they remove the stops and shelter and first.
Shelter and those.
Yeah, so she
What was
asked
it called?
why.
The bench?
It was, it was a bench. No, that's the thing, no está. Only the flower and tienes el resto, pero en my
So the
father,
entire stuff was removed.
yeah, it's
So
not,
she has to walk farther.
yeah, she has to walk a lot to, you know, like,
You know, I don't know why, but we can connect with OCTA to find out.
yeah,
They decide, because the stop has to, I want to say that they look at the number of passengers every time, and if there's not enough passengers, they try to move them around to be more effective, but that's the.
yes, because, you know, like, I live in the house, you know, second and Chelsea for 3 years, and that was stuff, it was there for
Yes.
more than 20 years, and they finally they removed the stuff. And my sister, like,
Have you talked to anyone? At OCTA?
no, so she
Pero
started.
my father worked, sorry, and my father and Shelton, yes, está, you see, very comfortable, the ladies. Pero no puede pasar very big, no. Very comfortable, my father and Shelton, because in there, sí, está, they stop in there. And my brothers and my sister, no. Maybe cry. Yeah.
Well, let me look into it. We'll get back to you. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, this is actually, and they talk about.
That's what they took it. It's not-
It rises to
There's no more.
It rises.
Shelter and first.
Shelton and first. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, before we roll on, I just quickly, we have Dr. Neri here. And so it's, yeah, can we work on Google and finally get them to show where the police station is? Long time ago, I got confused. Unfortunately, she was sent over to the council chamber, right? That's what they said.
I was at the council chambers, then I thought the map looked like it was close, I was gonna walk across, decided not to, and then Google had me circle around, and so that's got me next to the stadium.
So let's give her a few minutes to introduce herself.
Thank you so much, Carl. I appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes. I'm Dr. Annebelle Nery, the president of Santa Ana College. I want to thank Carrie and Teresa. I'm sure they did a wonderful job with the presentation. But I'm here to share that one of the key visions of Santa Ana College is to increase partnerships and increase our presence in the community. And every opportunity we can to partner, and whether it's facilities, whether it's programming, whether it's opening pathways for our students, we're ready to partner, because at the end of the day, when we all work together, we serve our students. And as we're doing today with today's agenda and the mission of Comlink, we're here to serve our community. So we just want to thank you for your commitment to the community. And thank you to Carrie and Teresa again. And, you know, we do, Google does need to be fixed, by the way. But, and I heard that some of our community members already shared, and members of our foundation board and the Measure Key Bond. Santa Ana College is second in the state, and we're on the road to be #1. And part of #1, that means Santa Ana College will be the #1 community college in the state of California out of 115 community colleges up and down the state. And we're not just going to shoot for the best in the state. We're going to shoot for the best community college in the country, and hopefully opening doors and partnerships with international universities and partnerships as well. Because we know it's the people's college and we are one of the jewels and key partners in Santa Ana. But by the time we are done, we are going to be the model community college for the nation and the world. And we can only do it together. So thank you very much. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I just looked up.
Good job.
I was thinking of the 15 that was designated for the first bachelor's degree. So there's only 50 and we're one of the 50. So what's in 100?
Yeah. And he just got named one of the best colleges in the West Coast by EdSource. It just came out last week, and press releases are coming out. We only came behind CSU Dominguez Hills, and then second, a community college up north called Skyline, and we came in third. And last Friday, the American Bar Association just announced that Santa Ana College was the diversity champion for our paralegal studies programs and our pathway to law. Because Santa Ana College is one of the only colleges that has a pathway to be a lawyer with actual partnerships and agreements with law schools and local universities right here in our backyard.
Are they going to give us money for scholarships?
We're working on that right now. That we're working on.
Thank you, Dr. Neri. I very much appreciate your presentation. And Nobel has been very kind to us to let us break in, and we're ready to turn back to you. Here's one thing I would like to mention. I'm glad that we had Council Member Mendoza with us. Let me just mention it right now. We're redistricting maps in the city. We're down to 4 maps. If you go on the website, you can see them. Please take a look and let your representative know what map that you do favor. And we're down to 4. And I know the councilwoman is working very hard on those for us. So we definitely appreciate it. Go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Jason Gabriel with the Public Works Agency, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Comlink Board, and everybody in the audience for allowing me to make a presentation on the construction update for the city of Santa Ana. As you know, over the last couple of years, especially during COVID, the city has ramped up construction. We have a lot of work going on all over the place. And what I wanted to do first was to walk through some of the resources that we have available for the community. Some of the resources we have available to the community so that you can keep tabs on construction, whether it's reaching out to us directly or using some of our resources on the web. So we're going to look at a construction map that we have on our website, and also our overall capital improvement program. It's basically a list of all the projects that we have work ongoing. There's a schedule that's available online. And then finally, there's a phone number, 714-647-5074. For any construction that's occurring in the city, please call this number. We can direct you whether it's a city project or if there's a permit going on, we can track that down and find out what's happening with that particular construction. The first resource I want to bring to your attention is our construction map. So a few ways to find it. I have the website there on the screen, but if you're not, quick with your pen and want to write that down. I also, if you do just a Google search of Santa Ana construction map, or you can go to Santa Ana Public Works and go to our main page. And we actually have a couple locations on our website. There's quick links on the left side. It's down a ways, but if you look for construction activity or near the top of our page, there is a current construction. Click on that, and you will see the this map here. And this map provides a number of details on specific projects. Here you can see kind of a map of different projects throughout the city. And if you click on one of those, you're going to get an estimated start and end date. You're also going to see what the scope of work of the project is, as well as some general limits and some contact information for that project. Another resource that we have is the Capital Improvement Program schedule. Again, there's the web link, but if you don't want to do that, you can just go to our Santa Ana Public Works. Again, Google search Santa Ana Public Works, go to our main page, and the very first item there under quick links is this project schedule or CIP schedule. And on that CIP schedule, you will see a list of projects. Also, what council wards those projects are in. It'll list the project manager, the project budget, and then for each line item is a separate project. So there's a linear project schedule. And down at the bottom, you can see based on the phase of the project. So from planning, design, through bidding and construction, you can see where, based on kind of the timeline, where that project is within the development process. And with that, I want to bring to light a few projects of note. One of the first projects is the San Lorenzo Sewer Lift Station. This is down near Segerstrom in Bristol. There's currently a lift station in Bristol, and what a lift station is, because the sewer lines, they flow by gravity down to the sewage treatment plants, but in some cases, we end up with situations where we need to, we don't have positive drainage, so we need to pump it up and then pump it out so that it can get into a pipe that does continue on to flow. So in this case, a major location down there, a major facility. We had some issues during COVID with the contractor, fortunately going out of business. We're back on track now. Construction is recommencing this month. So we anticipate completion of this project in winter of this year. Another project that's ongoing is the Warner Avenue improvements between Maine and Oak. I'm sure if you've driven down there, you've seen all the activity down there. It's towards the south end of Santa Ana. So our storm drain there gets very large. We have a lot of water that's being collected down on the south end. Ultimately, the water that's collected here heads over on Warner to Flower, where the Delhi channel kind of picks up to the south of there. But this is a major box, we call it a box drain, a big rectangle, effectively cross section. And that's ongoing. That should be complete this summer. Followed by that, same segment between Maine and Oak, will be undergrounding all the overhead utilities. And then following that up next spring with the actual improvements, widening with the adding additional lanes, medians, and actually the same type of protected bike lanes that we see on Bristol. Another interesting and a kind of a fun project that we have at Santa Ana Zoo is the Santa Ana Zoo Giant River Otter exhibit and Primate trails. It's a revisioning of the Amazon Edge exhibit that's there, but it's going to introduce a giant river otter, and as well as in the above ground, in the trees, and then in the other space, there's going to be some monkeys placed in that area. So there's also going to be kind of an underground viewing area, so you can see underwater, see the river otters. So fun project. It's just getting started. We anticipate completion next spring. Additional project that is ongoing is the South Main Corridor improvements. It's a revisioning of the South Main Corridor, a lot of different types of improvements, including new sidewalks, some additional landscaping, lighting, just kind of really a sprucing up of the whole South Main corridor. While we're there, we're going to improve the sewers, the water lines, and we're introducing fiber optics and introducing new streetlights, as well as on the pavement, basically from First Street all the way down to Dyer will be the pavement. So we anticipate that being completed this summer, but work is still ongoing. Another interesting project up north in the town near Centennial Park. If you go to Lincoln, where it ends, kind of turns at Park Lane, we're connecting there into the park along the railroad tracks. So this has been a long envisioned project since the Fairhaven, that jog in the Fairhaven at the railroad track was closed. This is creating a connection from Park Santiago to the that east that was disconnected when that railroad crossing was closed. So we're very close to completion. Actually, we anticipate in the next month or so that trail connection will be available. And with that, I'm willing to take some comments. Yes, sir.
Actually, I was paying attention, but I missed a little bit of something. I heard the keyword fiber optics from First to Edinger. Was that correct?
The fiber optics are being installed along the limits of the project, which are first down to, I believe, Warner.
Warner, okay. Yeah. And are they internet fiber optics? What are they going to be used for?
Yes, we're partnering with, I believe it's Verizon. We took the opportunity, since we knew we were going to be basically tearing up the whole road and replacing the pavement, to get them in and get their fiber optic lines in, so that all along that corridor, new businesses can come in, or even potentially connection to residential. But we wanted to get that backbone in while we were doing the work.
Do you know, just, and this may be stretching it a little bit, do you know if the fiber optics will be going up to facilities, or it's just going to be a backbone and then it'll branch off to a slower speed?
At this point, it's just the backbone. I don't know the details of what they plan, how they connect, but yes, it's putting that main line in so that it's ready to go, and then they can make the branches from there.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions. The first question is the new, we said that they're going to drop the power lines underground on the South Main project. Is that going to include the outsides of that? Because that South Main corridor supply, there's a zillion power poles down there too, and they're all really, really old.
So the undergrounding is occurring on Warner Avenue. It's not on Main. It's Warner from Main to Oak right now.
Okay.
And yes, it's the big, tall transmission lines as well as the shorter distribution lines. So it is a very major effort to get those.
Will that impact like neighborhoods that feed off of those power lines? Because like in our neighborhoods, there's power poles all over the place. And we were hoping at some point in our lifetime to see those power lines drop underground. Is
So
that part of this at some point or no?
it's mostly focused on the corridor. It's basically to the right-of-way line or the back of sidewalk on Warner.
Okay.
But it brings everything down. So if there's no, if you're looking into the neighborhood, if all the lines on Warner go underground, then they'll have to underground to the nearest pole in the neighborhood and then rise it back up.
Okay. So that isn't a citywide plan, like from Wilshire.
Ultimately, it is, but historically, how those projects have been funded is that Southern California Edison sets aside a portion of the rate bear. It's done on their entire region, and then it's distributed proportionally to the populations in the different cities. Obviously, it's not something that can occur overnight, but I have heard that the Public Utilities Commission is changing that model, so we're monitoring that to see how it's changing. It's going away from the model they currently have, but it is a very long-term vision to, underground as much as possible.
The second question dealt with the metal placement on Broadway and Centennial Boulevard. I think it's probably, there's these big three metal plates that are across the intersection.
Okay.
That wasn't noted in your project of village. Is that something you guys are replacing, fixing at some point?
Yes, it's most likely part of the OC streetcar construction. I believe that intersection is not complete yet. So OCK is working with their contractor Walsh to determine when best to come back to that intersection. But because the bulk of the work is ongoing on 4th Street, we don't want to close either Broadway or Maine right now. So we're working with OCTA to figure out when that could work in occur.
Okay, because there's a lot of sewer potholes, there, sewer lines there. And so driving there is really hazardous, kind of
Right.
up and down and getting like it.
So we do monitor and we advise OCTA and their contractor to make repairs to trenches and to potholes and whatnot.
Okay, but that's not necessarily construction projects with the city. That's what it seems to be.
It is a partnership with the city and we work directly with them, so
Okay.
I will make sure to convey the message to that.
I was going to say, the city does communicate, and so bring the concerns to the city and they'll do.
There you go.
Understand we have a Zoom question? Go ahead.
Does the Santa Ana construction map include all projects? There is a new construction that just started recently on 17th Street between Ross and Maine, reducing eastbound traffic to one lane, greatly affecting residents of the Willard community. We have significant increased traffic from the Civic Center area, trying to avoid traffic. Where can we find more information about this area?
You can definitely contact our phone number that I provided earlier in the presentation. The phone number is 714-647-5074. I am aware of that. It's actually on my path home. I encountered that last night. I believe it's a permit, but definitely I can look into that. If you provide your information by calling that number, then we can respond to you directly.
We have a question back here.
There's another question. There is for Nabil.
Does project map include the Bristol Street construction project? Will it have anticipated completion dates?
So the map is active construction. So currently we're wrapping up at the bike lane project that is between McFadden and First Street. But that was basically done. It doesn't show future projects. But the construction schedule, the project schedule does include all projects. The map is focused on construction.
Okay.
Since we do have Teresa here, you want to update us on the light rail going in?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Teresa Oliveri. I work for the Orange County Transportation Authority. We are the entity that is building the streetcar project. Most of the 4.15 miles does run through the city of Centennial. All but 600 feet go into Garden Grove. So currently, the main kind of focus, everyone's attention is downtown on 4th Street. Your downtown is made up of 8 blocks. One block is finished, the block between French and Mortimer. There are 4 blocks currently under construction with a skip or a break between Maine and Bush currently, and then the 2 blocks next to Ross. So that work began on February 1st and is right now scheduled to run to sometime in the fall. I don't have a specific date. We are working with our contractor. In fact, we're workshopping with them on Friday to look for some opportunities to perhaps restage some of the work so we can advance and get out of there, get out of everybody's way as soon as possible. We certainly appreciate everyone's patience. We certainly want to make sure that people, even though it may not be as direct a route as you are used to get to the downtown, to please visit the merchants and the stores and the shops down there. They really would appreciate your business. Parking is now free. The city has made parking free on Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then I believe beginning on March 1st, there'll be 2 hours of parking on the weekends. So we're in fact, we just approved the new banners today, new information that will go on all the parking structures. Those structures are available and accessible from 3rd Street and 5th Street. And then you just walk 1 block up to find your, you're going to a restaurant or a store. So that's, again, we certainly invite everyone. We've put electronic signs outside of the parking structures to make them more visible to people. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have one here.
Yes, ma'am.
How is the trolley, the train gonna work? Is it gonna be just 2 cars? Is that all there is to it?
No, we've actually purchased 8 cars from Siemens. They're being manufactured right now up in Sacramento. 6 cars will be in service on any given day. They, what we call headway, there'll be 10-minute headway. So during rush hour, the streetcar will come every 10 minutes. So that it will go, be very frequent. It'll be very, hopefully convenient for people who use it to connect to the buses that go north and south.
Now, does the route, is it going to go around, like go to where it's going and then come around the circle and start again? Or is it going to go to the end and turn around and come back?
So it's, well, depending on where you start, let's start in Santa Ana, starts at the Metrolink station, comes down Santa Ana Boulevard, all the way to the end of where this, what we call street running portion at Rate Street. And then that transitions over to what we call, ballasted track. So that property beyond Rate Street actually goes all the way, that's the old Pacific Electric right of way. So it's the old red car that came into Santa Ana. That travels all the way up to LA, actually. But we'll go as far as Harbor and Westminster with this service. So we stop at Harbor and Westminster, and then we come back in the other direction. So back on Santa Ana Boulevard as we get to Rate Street. And then when we come up to Sasser Park, we will actually have a station in Sasser Park, and we'll continue traveling east on 4th Street. And then the service makes a left-hand turn and goes north on Mortimer and reconnects with Santa Ana Boulevard back to the Metrolink station.
It's almost like there are 2 routes, one going and one coming.
Yes, it's just a little where it's one where the street is one way on Santa Ana Boulevard. The service will be one way and then back going again back to the Santa Ana
And then there's
station.
6 cars running all the time. Is that right, one after another?
There'll be 10 stops in each direction. And I can tell you where they are right now if you like.
I see them as I drive around.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes, and there are some brochures on the table, and I have my contact information is on the back of the brochure. So the inside of the brochure has a whole map that shows all the different locations of the service. We're adding 2 traffic signals, one up at Lacey, one up at Rate, to help with pedestrian safety, et cetera. Any questions?
Yes, big question.
Yes, sir.
$94,000 question.
When is it open?
When is completion test?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So currently, the date is March of 2024. That's what we call revenue service date, but you will see the cars traveling sooner than that. We'll have about at least a 6-month test period where we'll have the cars running a lot. You'll see on the PE right of way. So you'll see them crossing at Fairview and then at 5th Street. Those stops will be, those crossings will have arms that come down and dedicated areas for pedestrians to safely cross the tracks there. And then otherwise you'll see them traveling on the street.
One other question. I'm very supportive of this, but because it's the first phase of others to come. And then the system really becomes extremely useful. So my question is, are those second phases being planned right now?
So we did do some initial studies for additional service or potential additional service. We looked at Bristol, we looked at Harbor. I think we're going back to the Harbor plan. So we need to go, our planning team will take an item to our board. We need to get direction from them and approval for them to go into an environmental phase to study and take a look at how we get, as you said, to connect Harbor, from the Harbor station up into Anaheim. For those, we planned this service, which connects us between the Santa Ana Metrolink station to Harbor and Westminster, because Harbor Boulevard is our heaviest transit corridor. So we run the most number of buses, move the most number of people on Harbor Boulevard.
Are there any other questions?
There's one more, Carl.
One more. Yes, that's for her or it's for me?
It's for Nabil.
Okay. All right. Teresa, thank you very much. I want to thank Teresa here because this poor lady has taken all the abuses and questions and she's answered them all. So we really appreciate it.
This question came through on Zoom for Nabil Saba. What is being done to preserve historical architecture elements being affected by the OC streetcar construction on 4th Street? And the person on Zoom posted a website, but if you have an answer, that would be great.
Thanks for the question. Part of the OC streetcar is to, it will impact the planters that have some art on the planters along 4th Street. And some of these planters will be removed. There's quite a bit of them. So from the very beginning, the design process, there was a concept that these planters will be removed. However, about 11 of them will be maintained. So the art will be preserved on 11 of these planters. In the same time, the Public Works Agency actually salvaged one planter that had that art on it at the city yard. So that is available to whoever wants to have access to that planter or the mold that the art is on that planter. They can come in and more than welcome to make a mold or take a picture of it or anything that they would like. It's accessible to anyone who is interested. Thanks.
Any other questions? I want to thank Nabil and his group for being here twice in comments. So I think this one, thank you for that. I want to say our next Comlink meeting is on March 24th in this room, starting at 7, just like usual. And I appreciate all the speakers. And with that, the meeting's closed. Thank you.
I know.